guys, and welcome to Rotondo. Today we have the dice verdict, and this for this brand new game out on GameFound, Malediction. Well, first of all, what is the dice verdict? The dice verdict is my personal rating system for board games, where I score them out of 100. But it's not just a random number. I break it down into 10 key categories, each worth up to 10 points. Here's what I look at when judging a game. First of all, the fun factor. Is it actually fun to play? Second, the replayability. Does it stay fresh after multiple sessions? Third, strategy and depth. Does it have layers of strategy to explore? 4, player interaction. How much do players engage with each other? 5, component quality. Are the materials and the design top notch? 6, the learning curve. Is it easy to pick up or a rule-heavy challenge? 7, the game length. Does it overstay its welcome or end too soon? 8, scalability. How well does it play with different group sizes? 9, luck versus skill balance. Is it too random or too predictable? And the final one, pricing. Is it worth the cost? I take all of these into account, score each category from 1 to 10, and total them up for a final dice verdict score out of 100. Now let's see how today's game ranks. The fun factor. How enjoyable is the game overall? Does it engage players and provide entertainment? For me personally, it has been a 10 so far. I've played it every day the past 2 months. And I've explained it to 2 to 3 people who are new to the game. And I still want to play it every day. From a short skirmish to a long dragged out battlefield. It's just so easy to get ready for and to start a game. Second, the replayability. How much variety does the game offer to multiple sessions? Is it likely to stay interesting over time? Not a single game in this game is the same. I started off really bad, losing 3 times in a row, and honestly, I was pissed. But then we discovered we played few things wrongly, we reread the rules, and it made such an impact. For me again, it's 10 out of 10. Don't lose patience, reread the rules, and ask questions in the Discord server. And if you discover your deck or decks, depending on what you have, and tweak it whenever you battle out someone, then really it's gonna stay interesting. For example, I'm gonna show you a few cards. So it's from the Legion of the Fallen set I've got right here. And this is one of the Seekers, Vorendal, the terrain card, and also the Legacy of Vorendal. In case you want something else, you can also use another Seeker for this set, because there's also Countess Morida Umberland. Both of these I have the minis for, but those I will show you later on. This is just to show you that there are a lot of variety possibilities, because this is only 2 of the Seekers. You've got a lot of cards. You've got 60 cards waiting for your deck just to be adapted. Alright, let's go to the next category. For me, it's strategy and depth. Does the game require players to think critically, plan and make strategic decisions? And how deep is the actual gameplay? And I've got to admit, it's immense. It's next level chess, but without the long thinking, the waiting, unless you play against me, of course. And with so much more variables to it. You can't just barge in recklessly hoping to win the game with brutal force. You might, I'm not saying it is impossible, but I would advise a strategy. Know your deck and try to know your opponent's deck. For me, it's a 9 out of 10. Why do I say that? Strategy and depth, because you have a lot of cards. Just look at a few of these. They all have a few extras on them, like Dual Spell, Empower Spell, Pinpoint. And all these have a meaning. And you need to create a deck which offers you like stability and a lot of options with units, with spells, and with items. I'm gonna look for an item in the deck I've laying around here. So let's show you all 3 cards. So this would be a unit, an item, and a spell. You can have swift spells, you can have channel spells. These you can play whenever you want. These you can play once every turn for every unit you have. Then you have units and you have items. So it's gonna offer a lot of strategy and a lot of depth because of those. Next up, number 4, player interaction. Does the game encourage interaction between players, whether cooperative or competitive? And yes it does, both ways. A 2 versus 2 needs cooperation from both players, definitely when you want to win. And you're surely gonna become competitive. Me and my friend were keeping score tabs, and for me, this is a 9 out of 10. It offers really the perfect balance to both. Number 5 then, component quality. Are the game pieces, the board and the cards well made and durable? Is the artwork visually appealing? As you can see for the cards, that's already a definitive yes. And I've been playing without the miniatures, but with the full experience, and I love it. I'm going to print and paint the miniatures. We've already printed a few as well, but for now, I love the quality of the standees and the cards. The artwork, as you can see, for me, it's amazing. And the quality is definitely on point. For me, it's a 9 out of 10. And I will show you a few more of the cardboard standees. So these are a few of them. I've got a few more to show you. And these are just the standees. You know, you have a lot of other qualitative extras to the game. I can show you the terrain as well. The pieces where the standees go in. It's all thought out very carefully and it's beautifully made. For me, as I said, it's gonna be a 9 out of 10. Next up, we've got the learning curve. How easy is it to understand and teach the game to new players? Is the rulebook clear and is it accessible? Well, I would show you the rulebook, but I only have an online version of it. It's definitely coming with a learning curve. And for me, it will be an easy one if you read the manual. And in doubt, ask questions in the Discord. I've taught now 2 to 3 new people the game, and for me, it's just how much you teach them at once. You can definitely do it, as the rulebook, by the way, suggests, in steps. They have 2 steps. For me, it might even take a few extra steps to do it. It took me about an hour and a half, I guess, to teach every player I've taught the game. So for me, it's another 9 out of 10. Next up is the game length. Does the game fit into the appropriate time frame for the group? Is it too long? Is it too short? Or is it just right? For me, again, it is perfect because you can adapt it yourself. You can choose out of the 3 board measurements for one. That's the first choice that makes your game length differentiate. But you can also choose how much mastery you need to win a game. So, as I've shown you, you normally start with 25 echo. And with this echo, you will play your cards. As you can see on top of the cards, there's numbers on there. That's how much echo you're gonna have to pay if you want to play those cards. Meanwhile, if you kill a card, a unit, with an item on there, let's show an item as well, and these have, so this unit has this item, and you kill this unit, it's gonna give you 5 mastery points. But let's say you and your friends decided you need 40 mastery to win, then 5 is not a lot. But if you decide you only need 20 mastery, you only have to kill 4 units to win a game, so you can just adapt it as much as you want. Also, you can have the husks. The husks are worth 10 points if you have them in your control. A husk, just to show you guys again, will be another card, that you have to choose from a relic display if you can contest and win the relic at the end of the turn. It's going to go to one of your units, let's say a Seeker, and as long as the Seeker is carrying the relic and he's not died, you will have 10 mastery. As soon as you lose your Seeker and he dies, he's defeated, that's a better way to put it, because he never dies, he will come back. Let's say he's just defeated, you will lose the artifact, you will lose the relic, and you will also lose your 10 mastery. So it's just, it's the way you adapt that's gonna figure out the game length. So for me, it's a 10 out of 10. Next up is scalability. How well does the game accommodate different player counts? Is it just as fun with 2 players as it is with 4? Again, I have nothing but positivity for this. 2 or 4 are at the moment the only option, so I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10 for that reason. But both versions are really worth it and give it a total different experience to the gameplay. And some extra news, as on GameFound you will find the update, Lootstudios has already communicated that there will be a 3-player game coming out in the third quarter of 2025. So this score might just be a bit low if the 3-player game comes out. We'll just have to see about that. Then number 9, luck versus skill balance. Does the game offer a good mix of luck and skill, or does one dominate the other? How fair is the outcome? Well, it does. A part of the luck, though, you will be able to control. As you yourself, you make up your deck of cards. And if you put in too many units, let's say, I will show you a deck I've made. So let's just say this is my deck. And I've pulled 7 cards. Let's just see which cards I will have. So at the moment I will have a spell, another spell, another spell, finally a unit, a spell, and a spell. This is the perfect example. I have 6 spells and 1 unit. So I'm pretty low on units. So if I lose this unit and my next 2 cards don't have a unit, as it is at the moment, okay, this was not planned, by the way, I just have these decks laying around, and so as you can see, next turn I won't be having a unit. So if they kill my unit, the only unit I will have is my Seeker. But if they kill both, then next turn I won't have any units on the field. Of course, they won't be able to kill me, so they won't be able to get points as they can't defeat my units, but they will still be able to contest husks, and they will be able to win those husks. So yes, it's luck, skill balance, it's perfectly matched out because you make your deck yourself. At the moment, I can only think about I've put too many spells in there and not enough units. But let's say you have no units left on the field, you have only 1, and you're a bit in danger. You've taken some damage. Let's say here we are, and I've took 12 damage. I can still run away. I don't have to fight. You don't have to compete with the enemy. You can just run away and survive another round. So you can get more units, you know? So yes, luck versus skill balance. You will have to use a bit of both, and you will need a bit of both. And then finally, the pricing. Is the game priced appropriately for its components, the gameplay and overall experience? Does it offer good value for the amount of entertainment and the replayability it provides? And here we are with the final one. So pricing, it's always a difficult subject, and for me it would be a 10 out of 10. Certainly after what Lootstudios did, they actually listened to the community. They adapted their prices. The prices were way up. Like a dual pledge was 120 and now it's only 90. The legacy pledge went down 15% as well. So they listen to the community. These days, there's not a lot of companies that listen to the community and adapt their prices that much. So for me, It was a beautiful, beautiful gesture of them. But of course, there is still a but, because the minis, they are not there. So if you pay 240 for 4 factions and the add-ons, you will have the full game without the minis. Most games on GameFound, in my opinion, they do have minis in that range of pricing. So of course we could have foreseen it, because Lootstudios is a company for STL subscription. So no need to change their way of working. But for me, someone without a printer, it would cost me a lot of money. So I asked around, I did, and the pricing was, it was quite high up for all the minis. I would suggest it takes like €1,000 to €1,500, because all these units, they are pretty big. The units are very high detailed, so you will need a resin to print it. I became very lucky. Again, luck versus skill balance, very nice. Because my friend bought himself a printer, which of course was still very pricey, but it was a good investment. And we started printing the minis. Let's show you guys 2 of our minis belonging to the Legion of the Fallen faction. And look at how beautiful these 2 just are. The detail on them. And I haven't even painted them. It's just magnificent, isn't it? So for me, pricing is gonna come in the end 7 out of 10, which is, in my opinion, a pretty high score for all I just said. So that means we can draw a conclusion. The total number we give this game is 91 out of 100. This game is going to be the future of tabletop gaming. Who needs Netflix and chill? It's going to be Malediction and beers with the lads. Or a cup of tea, if you count my group in. So do you? Do you dare to enter the Malediction? Let me know in the comments, drop me a like, and make sure to subscribe to the channel if you like this video. And I will see you next time here on Rotondo.